Welcome, guys, to the best Pat podcast you'll ever heard.
The best Pat podcast?
Yeah. Oh, jeez. It's crazy. No way we have a button that can restart it.
Nope. So this is the Technically Short podcast.
Oh, I like that. Technically short. Like tech guy in short.
Yep.
Did you make that up?
I already told you about it.
What? Honestly, didn't remember. So awesome.
Yeah. Technically Short. Thomas Edward Carney. Tech.
Wow.
And this... never mind, go.
Honestly, when I think about that, like, me and you having the same middle name in itself is already crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I'm Thomas.
I'm Sean.
And, yeah, this is just our intro episode to the Technically Short podcast. We, our friend and pastor, Pastor Ed, joked to me about this podcast a while ago and said that we could literally talk about anything and he would listen. So Ed, you better be listening.
I think it's gonna do well. Honestly, people love me and you. It's like silver and gold. It's like peanut butter and jelly. You can't live with your life without having a taste.
That sounded so weird.
It might be.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this first episode, you already know who we are because this is our first episode. It's not
first episode's actually
this is where
no prep time.
Right.
It's awesome.
We are not editing this at all. We're not. This is just going to be the raw, uncut audio going out to whatever podcast verse we send it out to, and we mainly because we don't have the capacity.
Honestly, I think it's going to do really well.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people getting to know the fire within.
Oh, geez. That's going to be so loud. That I wish I was editing it, because you just like destroyed people's eardrums.
The fire within. I talk some, so maybe it might not hurt.
You're good. We already found out that you're good. So like the point of this episode is like an intro to who I am, to Sean is why we're doing it. You already know who we are, but we're going to talk about it anyway.
Yeah. Honestly, I think a lot of people can grow from hearing you, Thomas, and a lot of people will definitely grow from hearing both of us, and the stories that we go through on these podcasts will be amazing. So stay tuned, be excited. You are in for a treat.
Sean is the number one hype man. So
I try.
Already told you where the preemptive start of this happened, where Ed kind of just jokingly said it to me like months ago, but then ever since I mentioned it to Sean, we've been joking about it ever since. So anytime we would have a 30-minute conversation about any nonsensical thing, we were like, yeah, that should go on a podcast. That would be a great podcast episode. And so now we're doing it.
I think it's awesome. Honestly, because the way we're about to do this is going to be incredible because of the fact it's literally like two amazing brains that are like opposite at times, parallel at other times, intersecting at times, seeing different, controversial, fun, all type of different type of funs.
So like, give a bit of a background of yourself and who you are.
Okay, quick background of myself. I'm 31 years old. I encountered God from an early age, probably from the age of 5. And from 5 to 19, lived a pretty Christian life. 19 through 29, lived a mediocre, ungodly life. Semi knew who Jesus was still, but like I was just doing the unstoppable and the uncourageable and all the horrible things. But then 29, prodigal son returns, and now I'm here, 31, living the good life of God, and main focus is God, but everything else has been blessed because of that. And that's the quickest summary I could tell you. I've played sports. I did football, did track. I was too scared to play baseball for a while, so now I play softball. But before I was a little nervous about that because seeing somebody get hurt early in life. So that's a quick intro of my life. It's going to get a little crazier during more of deep, dark conversations.
Okay. Clearly, we have not prepped at all for this because, I mean, like, him and I have no, like, we're just, we'll figure out what we're going to talk about while we're talking about it, so.
Honestly, I think that's the best way because it's raw that way.
Well, definitely want to, I'm more of a prep person, so this is just, this is brand new to me. I'm definitely going to be prepping more for other episodes in the future, very, like bullet point, but like, just so we have core topics on what to talk on.
Honestly,
but like it won't be scripted. That would be a dumb podcast. Well, some podcasts are scripted, but this time podcast shouldn't be. Whatever. But I
agree. I think bullet points in sticking to a topic.
Yeah, I'll give a little bit of background on myself. Yeah, so I'm Thomas Carney. I was raised. I don't know. Well, actually, I'll just give background on how Sean and I even met. We met through Amplified Church here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, specifically in Plum, and we really didn't know much about each other at all until he moved in.
Fair.
And you know what? I'm going to tell the story about how you moved in.
Oh, that's crazy.
Because,
that's awesome.
Because I know still our perspective. This is why this podcast I think is going to be really good because our perspectives are so bizarrely different. And the way he moved in, it was we had a get together that happened one time at currently my place. Bible study. It happened one time for reasons, and I for some reason jokingly said, I think I was jokingly said I was like kind of looking, kind of not looking for a roommate, and I was like I forget what Sean said, but I was like, yeah, I know, I got a free room upstairs, and he just flat out is just like, your free room, my lease is over at the end of the month. Wow! Come to Bible study, get a place to live, look at God, and I was like, "What? Who are you?"
Sounds about right, honestly.
Oh man! And he started telling people about how he was moving in before we even talked about it. And we eventually did, we talked about it on a 20 to 30 minute car ride to
From
your
the movies.
No, it was to your Walmart.
Was it to Walmart?
Yeah, it was to Walmart because you had to get money out.
Oh yeah, before we go to the movies.
Whatever, I don't know what we were doing. I just know we were driving to Walmart because you refused to drive to the closer one because you didn't know how to get there. You knew how to get to the Greensburg one.
Yeah, at the time I probably did only know how to go to mine. Now I know how to go to all of them.
That's good. That's good.
That's probably fair.
Oh man. I don't know. Yeah, and we're aiming to have these podcasts be about 30 minutes long. At max. So this might be shorter, might be longer, but I don't know. I think like I don't know. Like I think Sean and I Sean kind of already said it. Like we are very different people. Like extremely. If you know us, you know that. And I'm a very I like to have a plan. I very strongly believe in all sorts of personal discipline, and I know Sean does too. But we're very different on how we execute it.
Absolutely.
And yeah, because I also don't want to sound like I'm talking myself up to talk you down.
No.
Like I'm so self-disciplined and Sean sucks.
No, I think we just have different parts of life we're different in. Like, we have very strong morals and we have a very strong focus on God, but on like the basic principles of life, I think we have like a little bit. I'm more of go with the flow and Thomas is prep, and there's nothing wrong with that. Thomas benefits in life on areas where I should benefit because I'm going with the flow. Like, going with the flow sometimes is not good. So there's a lot I can learn from Thomas. Sometimes Thomas can learn a little from me, from, you know, going with the flow. Takes the ease and the stress and makes that like the best when you're just going with the flow, because like things just tend to happen in a positive manner, but sometimes not prepping is a horrible thing as well. So like, you might get a bad thing not prepping, but prepping will always give you the solution you want to get.
Not always. Definitely not always, because been there. And but like I believe in the prep work, I think, specifically because like the prep work is like, if you don't it's like you hear like people say like, yeah, God's going to do it, but he's going to move regardless of what you do. But if you aren't moving with it, then like how much you're limiting what can actually happen if you're not doing what can actually what can happen in your life. I'm saying,
right?
Because like, sure, God could miraculously do all these things that you could ever want in your life, but He's not going to do that if you're not putting in the work.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, when putting stuff in the work, the hard part about that is because you can be tending sheep like David, and David was tending sheep, and he was just asked to give his brother some cheese. At this time, David is already known to be king, right? For only his family knows. Nobody else in the world knows, but just his family. But he was doing the outside things that were just normal to him.
Yeah.
And he still ends up changing drastically everything.
Yeah.
By like miracles and stuff. So like, sometimes you could just be doing what you're doing and then God steps in. But other times, Thomas is right, where you have to like prep and be doing what you're leading into. So like, it's a give or take. It's a 50-50. Sometimes you're you're doing whatever you need to do, and other times you just have to do what you're told to be doing. So
right, yeah, there is a time to go with the flow, and then I think but it's not all the time.
Right.
And I think and I feel like there are certain people like me, like I do sometimes have a problem with going with the flow, but and that is and like that's something I've been growing in a lot recently, and like trying and like believing in God that He'll do the things that He promised He'll do, and at the same time still like working on keeping my eyes open to the possibilities, and like working on and keep moving forward in my own personal development, personal health, and mindfulness, health with my mind, body, and spirit. Because I think, but that's getting a whole nother topic, and I can go off on tangents all day. But like, I don't know, like, I'm not sure where we're going anymore, but
I think this is why the first episode's so dope, because like I said, it's so raw. It's just like we're going in, and any topic's up for debate or discussion, and you're getting a glimpse of what the future holds at this podcast. Because to be honest, this is how it's going to be. It'll be like, we have such amazing brains God given us, 2 different talents God's given us, and yet we're still changing the world. We're world changers still, and it's just different mindset. So you get to hear a prep versus flow type of mindset, and you get to see why we think the way we're thinking, and you're also getting a possibility of where Thomas is leading you, where Sean's leading you, and where Christ is leading you, and we're both leading you to Christ. So check this out. You'll love us.
Yeah. And on that note, I think that's actually a pretty decent place to leave it.
I think it's good.
So without needing to dive into more, especially since this is an intro episode, I think leaving it a little bit shorter than usual will be good.
I think that was dope.
But all right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.